Hey guys, Beast back. Today we're going to do another Thrive video. Sort of. It's basically going to be an egg comparison video and finding better solutions for your food storage using eggs. If you guys have been following my channel since the beginning of Thrive, when I first got the sample 6 number 10 cans in to try the Thrive before I even decided to go with the Thrive, one of the things that impressed me was the egg powder. You know, it's not egg flavoring or anything like that. The ingredients on this one is whole eggs, and then there's some sodium, basically an anticoagulant thing so it doesn't cake up. I don't even know how to pronounce that. But it's an egg powder. It's pretty, you know, frivolous over all the food storage. Somebody has an egg powder in there. I've used this for pancake recipes. I've used it in baking. I've used it as regular stuff in the mornings. The best way I found to cook it after you you know, do the ratio, it's 1-to-2 ratio with the water. I put it in the hot pan. I usually cover it with a lid and I kind of let it set up as a big cake. Then I'll flip it to get the top that hasn't cooked quite yet. And then I'll start breaking it up into sort of a scramble. That's kind of the best way I've found to cook this. Later we're going to get into a comparison with the other products, and you're going to see, just for the sake of being consistent, when I cooked this, I kept it moving in the pan with the spatula just like the other egg products we're going to do. It was the easiest way for me to kind of make sure that they were all consistent. What happens with that, with the egg powder, is it doesn't really allow it to stop and set up as easily. You really kind of just have to let this stuff set up and finish cooking, and then you can break it up. And so that's what you're going to see, is it kind of is a little more gloopy, droopy egg mix, which I've never really done because I normally, like I said, I just normally put a lid on it and cover it. Now, as I've said before, I'm not a Thrive fanboy, so when I can find a better product, I will. And you know, I saw the Equip to Endure crew was at some sort of expo, and they came across an OvaEasy booth, and everything the guy was discussing about how they use they steam the egg and then it gets freeze dried and whatever happens. I don't know that it's actually freeze dried, but they use a lower temperature. It becomes a crystallized egg, and you're going to see with this little video insert, there'll be pictures and stuff. You can see the different colors, and the consistency is a little bit different than your standard dry eggs are. But I wanted to try it. It is a little bit more expensive. I got this one off of Amazon. This little pouch, 4.5 ounce pouch, is equivalent to 12 eggs. And it's, you know, it's a little bit different. It's got whole eggs, a yolk, dried egg whites, and then some glucose removed for stability. But it's a little bit different setup except for just regular eggs. So I'm not sure what their process is. It's done at a lower temperature, whatever. It's supposed to be even better than your standard old egg powder that a lot of companies carry for your freeze dried. I tested it. It was great. I loved it. Even the mix is a little bit different. You'll see that this stuff dissolves easier than the egg powder. You know, it definitely, it's crystallized. It's fancy. So it does what it says it does. It's a 2-to-3 ratio on there. So 2 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons of water. And it's good. I started looking at the pricing. I wanted to look around to see, because you can get the OvaEasy in a number 10 can. Again, it's going to be, it depends. This egg powder, there's 236 servings, which is 236 eggs. The price on the egg powder works out a lot closer than your standard eggs than this crystallized. Currently, this is kind of a new, fancier version. I'm sure the processing is not cheap to do, so this stuff is going to be a little bit more expensive. If you want to bring this with you, camping and whatnot, I'm sure it would hold up great. I haven't done any camping. I've been using this around the house, just testing it. Before I went to that, you know, I wanted to see, Thrive had just come out this year with what they call the scrambled egg mix. And when I got a sample of it, I discovered that it's basically identical to the OvaEasy stuff. So I'm able to keep the Thrive, put this into my queue, and order this stuff without having to go to Amazon and worry about getting OvaEasy stuff. Now, whether Thrive is doing the same processing, I don't know. I didn't look into it that deep, because I know OvaEasy does do repackaging for Honeyville and a few others. So more than likely, they're processing it and it's getting rebranded with the label for Thrive. I'm not 100% sure on that. As an end user, consumer, using this stuff, it doesn't really matter to me. It's easier for me to go with the Thrive scrambled eggs than order some stuff off Amazon OvaEasy, because I get better deals on the Thrive stuff. I just do. So that's what I'm going to go with. You're going to see in the video inset of us comparing all these. And like I said, to make it consistent, all three of these were done the same. The pan got, you know, up to temp, a little bit of spray of olive oil, and then we used the spatula to kind of spoon it around. If you use the scrambled egg and OvaEasy mix in small quantities like I was doing, I was basically doing a single serving of it was 2 scoops or 2 tablespoons of the crystals to 3 of water. And what you're going to see is at one point, once the temperature reaches the point where the eggs basically cook and come back, it releases the excess water in the pan, and that's what you're going to see. Now, serving this in larger quantities with the family, I haven't noticed that. So if I take, you know, 2 half-cup scoops and then, you know, 1.5 cups of water, and serve a bigger, sort of like a family of 4, if I'm serving 4 people for breakfast, I haven't noticed that same water release that you're going to see in the video coming up. So if that's something that you're kind of worried about, don't, unless you're doing 1 egg at a time. When I do it larger, I don't. But I also throw in more freeze-dried stuff. Like this morning, I had sausage crumbles and that freeze-dried tomato in there. So whether or not that soaks up the extra water, because I didn't add any extra water, I did the exact same recipe that it requires for the eggs, and then I threw in a bunch of extra stuff and threw it in the pan. And it comes out fine. Everyone seems to really like it. Nobody really had an issue with the egg powder, the way I was cooking it, the way I told you. They didn't really notice that much as well. This is a better tasting product, but it also is going to be more expensive. So you have to kind of find out what you're going to like. People have often asked me, especially when the price gets more expensive with like the scrambled egg mix, and you know, people were asking me back when I was talking about the egg powder, why you'd want to do that, especially even if you have chickens. We have chickens, but we don't have enough of them to really keep up with the demand, because generally I do, you know, homemade bread that you guys have seen. I do eggs, and sometimes we have a breakfast meat, but not always. And that's generally our, you know, it's a hearty whole grained bread and some eggs with a little protein. It's a great breakfast, and that's generally mostly what I cook on a day-to-day basis for breakfast, whether I'm cooking for the family or just me. And so our chickens, just especially in the winter, they slow down. I don't even think a couple of them are laying. One of them lays every other day or something like that. But so you need something to supplement that. Like I said, I've used this in baking. I haven't tried the scrambled mix in any of the baking recipes. I'm sure it would do just fine. But you can use them for all sorts of stuff when you need to do that. Why do you want to spend the extra money? Well, for one, the availability of eggs, the price of eggs. People worry about salmonella. With this kind of stuff, you don't worry about any of the, you know, it doesn't have to be cooked to a certain temperature. You don't worry about OvaEasy and all that stuff. If there's a rash of, you know, weird diseases in the chicken culture, you know, that's the whole reason why we have all this freeze-dried stuff. So understand that the cost is not going to be exactly the same as over-the-counter eggs. Once you get over that fact, and if you guys are storing these and not trying to use them every day, and you know, you're just waiting for the apocalypse, for the next apocalypse to happen, since we've already passed this last one. But I enjoy doing this stuff, and as you guys see, I use this for camping, you know, the freeze-dried, and we will be testing the scrambled mix later this year when we get out into camping. But I've been doing a lot of the whole grain cereal stuff instead. So what you're going to see is a little video insert, and it's going to have some pictures, and it's going to show us cooking those and look into it. The OvaEasy price is about the same as the Thrive. I think on Amazon, 2 number 10 cans was $70 some, and these are $30 some on there. I don't remember the exact price. They were very comparable. I can add these to my monthly queue, and so that's why I'm doing this. But I just wanted you guys know the OvaEasy and this is basically the same product. Whether they're making it for them or not doesn't really matter in the end. But they are much better than the egg powders. So if you guys want to order a pouch like I did and try it, and you know, I think you'll enjoy it, especially if you're going to use it and expect it to be like actual eggs. It's a pretty tasty treat. Anyway, this has been Beast. Enough rambling about eggs. I'll show the video. Thanks for watching, guys.
Feeling hungry like I could die. Saw a bakery and passed it by. Why would I do that? I'll tell you why. There just ain't nothing better than your apple pie. Don't want your brownies, they're much too sweet. And your cheesecake's like stinky feet. But you do one thing I cannot lie. You bake the very, very sweetest apple pie. Now when